My work on the Board of Supervisors has been to, and will be, to create an inclusive and welcoming community for all and increase access to services. And I'm appreciative of Chair Glover's theme this year of equity, diversity, access, and inclusivity. And I know we as a board continue to strive to that goal. You know, a year and a half ago, I was sworn in as the first openly gay Contra Costa County Supervisor, and I had the privilege of having my husband, Jeremy, beside me. So it really is an honor to lead the presentation to proclaim June 2024 as the LGBTQIA+ Pride Month in Contra Costa County during my second year on the Board of Supervisors. As a youth, Contra Costa was much more conservative. It was not an easy place to come out and be your authentic self. But we had some opportunities in the LGBTQ history. You know, in 1978, Harvey Milk came over and debated Senator Biggs on an issue that was on the ballot in 1978. And he opened doors for me, provided me opportunities. And there were other community activists right here in our own backyard that have opened doors and made my path easier and the path for members of the LGBTQIA community much better than it was. One of those was Ben Barr, one of our local residents from West County, who helped turn the Rainbow Community Center into a safe space and a provider that they are today. As the first openly gay council member and mayor for the city of Pleasant Hill, I had the privilege of authoring the Inclusive City Resolution and initiating their Pride recognition. So now I look across the county and we have members of the LGBTQ, I know I still struggle with that, plus community on city councils in several cities in this county. So as the first, I'm gonna have to say it again, LGBTQIA+ member of the board, I understand I have a responsibility to lead the way for others like others have done for me and continue to advocate for the community. For years, we have fought for equality, and now with the current political climate, we still face those challenges and attacks. It is more important now than ever before to show our support, whether you are part of the community or an ally. This work is ongoing, and there is differences that can be made each and every day. There are organizations within our community that tirelessly advocate for a welcoming and inclusive community. So I want to recognize a few of them here today, and I would invite you to stand as I recognize your organization if you're here. First, the Rainbow Community Center of Contra Costa from Concord. I'm not sure if I saw Val. There we are. So, I've had the privilege of working with the RCC for many years, but they continue to work towards building a community of equity and well-being for our LGBTQIA+ people and their allies. They provide clinical service, peer group therapy, HIV support, adult programs, youth services, homeless youth services, other senior programs, and professional developments and trainings to our community organizations. Near and dear also to my heart is the Royal Grand Ducal Council of Alameda and Contra Costa County. I see Sister Annie Cockledoo is here, one of our board members, as well as a past monarch, Royal Grand Duchess, and it's another organization that just goes out of their way to raise money for organizations and providing services to the LGBTQIA+ community. And as we recognize seniors today, one of those charities they've supported in the past is Lavender Seniors, which is an organization that supports LGBTQIA seniors. And they do it in a fun and exciting way by providing drag shows and entertainment opportunities for the community to support and or raise the money. Just this last weekend, Clayton Pride. I am so proud of my community, Clayton. So this year was their third annual Clayton Pride Parade, and they continue to work to create a city where LGBTQIA+ people thrive as healthy and equal members of society through advocacy for respect, equity, and justice, and work to build a culturally rich community for members and allies. It's the smallest city with the biggest parade. We participated, my office participated in the parade along with many other local electeds and community groups. It has just continued to grow each and every year. I don't know what you're going to do. We also have Pride Martinez, which was just founded last year. The mission of their Pride is to celebrate the community and its allies. And this year, on the 21st of September, they will hold their second family-friendly celebration at the Waterfront Park here in Martinez. And then finally, the Rise Center, which was born in the early 2000s. This again is where our youth take the lead. They led the movement, desiring safety and healing relationships in their schools and their community. RISE amplifies the humanity and brilliance of Black, Brown, Indigenous, and youth of color against a backdrop of dehumanization and dismissal. LGBTQ plus BIOC have been part of RISE since they began. They launched the Alphabet Group in the first ever Pride Month in Richmond. RISE has achieved a consistent practice of affirming gender expansiveness and queer identities in all spaces where they hold relationships and responsibility, and influencing funding and policy to benefit the lives and well-being of LGBTQ plus BIOC. And I would invite RISE to come forward and share a few thoughts with us today.
Yes.
RISE exists because 20 years ago, queer and trans BIPOC young people had the courage to organize and demand a space in their community that centers their collective healing, bold visions, and immense creativity. Young people who understood the assignment of justice for all, including the generations after them. Today's generation of youth and adults feel the power, love, and care of our youth founders as they enter the RISE campus. Pride Month is a time to celebrate, as well as to stay humble in learning and self-reflection, particularly in a time of continuing and amplified dehumanization, dismissal, and danger for our queer and trans kin. Remember that Pride began as BIPOC-led protests against direct violence and targeting of LGBTQIA plus people by the systems that are supposed to serve us. The legacy of Pride is speaking truth to power, to injustice, so that love can be love.
This is a directive guiding the design of RISE's Health Justice Center, providing holistic, affirming health and healing for LGBTQIA youth and young people most vulnerable to the systems and neglect. To the LGBTQIA youth, young people in West Contra Costa County, thank you. Thank you for launching and sustaining RISE's Alphabet Group Identity Group space since 2009 and for leading the first Youth Pride Month in Richmond. Thank you for the legacy of pride and courage you have continued to show up with, even in the face of homophobic attacks, even in the face of homophobic attacks. Thank you for creating momentum and flexing your immense power. Your leadership is in RISE's local and statewide LGBTQ advocacy. Your experiences ground published research about gender and sexuality-based violence, mental health coping, and school conditions. And your questioning, risk-taking, and realness is in all the ways you ensure all young people experience affirmation of gender expansiveness and queer identities in all spaces, including RISE. Thank you for holding us accountable and for your patience and grace when we misstep. We see you, we are you, and we love you. Thank you.
Thank you. And just again, for all our community partners, just a quick round of applause again.
Thank you once again.
I was just reflecting back in 2023 when I first joined the board. Supervisor Joya held our January luncheon at the Rise Center. I don't think it had anything to do with me, but there was a little rain and thunder and lightning. Maybe it was my entrance, I don't know.
The skies opened up with thunder and rain and lightning, yes.
You got to stir things up somehow. You know, the other thing is again, thank you very much. This year it's important to highlight some of the work that Contra Costa County does with the LGBTQIA+ community to ensure they have the necessary services and resources and partnerships so we can all thrive. So I'd invite Contra Costa Health Deputy Director Matt Kaufman. Is Dr. Nicholas with us?
Can I make on our last speaker? Can I make a comment to our last speaker?
Sure.
I just want to thank you for such a loving, positive, kind message at a time when the world can be a little bit overwhelming. That energy, that kindness, that love, that ripples. And I just wanted to thank you for being here to do that.
Thank you.
Well, share with us a little bit about what Contra Costa Health is doing, our gender clinic, our everything that we're doing for our LGBTQIA+ community.
Sure. Thank you, Supervisor Carlton, and I also want to thank the rest of the board for this opportunity to speak to you. I'm happy and proud to be here. We are today observing Pride, and we want to send a very clear message of inclusivity to everyone in our county and in our community. Now more than ever, our community members need to feel, and not only hear, but feel that they are valued and accepted. We belong here in Contra Costa County. Everybody belongs here in Contra Costa County. I can tell you from my own experience, and I'm probably going to choke up a little bit, not being your authentic self is excruciating, absolutely excruciating. And this gives everyone an opportunity to be their authentic self. Brene Brown, who's a sociologist and a professor and an author, she's written many books, but she studies mainly shame, vulnerability, empathy, and leadership. And I want to quote her. "Shame is that warm feeling that washes over, makes us feel small, flawed, and never good enough." I have felt that. We have all felt that. This is a day, this is a month, this is a year, this is a forever where we get to celebrate who we are and who everybody is in our community. Supporting Pride is not just a symbolic gesture. It's a tangible, real, authentic commitment to equality, diversity, and justice for all of our residents, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. I am proud to work for the county. I am proud to work for Contra Costa Health. We have a long history of standing in solidarity with our LGBTQIA+ community. At Contra Costa Health, we work hard every day to ensure that our patients, clients, and employees receive the care that is respectful, empathetic, and appropriate for who they are. I just want to close very quickly before I turn it over to Dr. Zachary Nicholas to talk about some of the services we offer with Contra Costa Health with another quote from Brene Brown. "Living into our values means that we do more than profess our values. We practice them. We walk our talk. We are clear about what we believe and hold it important, and we take care that our intentions, words, thoughts, and behaviors align with those beliefs." The recognition of June as Pride Month by this board does just that. And we all thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your support. Now I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Zachary Nicholas, who's a physician with our gender clinic, to talk about some of our services. Thank you so much for your love and support.
Everybody, thank you for the introduction. So as mentioned, I am one of the new providers that we have here at the county. Among my abilities as a primary care provider and other subspecialty services, I service in our gender health clinic, which is one of the ways that we provide gender affirming care to many of the patients that we have here in the county. This is an outpatient clinic. It's available multiple times per month throughout the county at our different sites. It provides a welcoming environment for transgender and gender diverse adults to receive healthcare and other services, including support for social transition. It's hard to overstate the barriers to adequate health care that is faced by our transgender and gender diverse patients due to transphobia, homophobia, racism, and other forms of discrimination. We provide knowledgeable services and providers in a welcoming space that's dedicated to their care. We also connect patients with vital support, including legal and behavioral health services that are tailored to their specific needs. For many patients, this clinic represents the difference between no health care and the health care that is absolutely needed and desired. It's difficult for members of these oppressed groups and communities to find gender-affirming care, and many have experienced direct harm in many healthcare settings otherwise. The presence of our services in Contra Costa County has clearly saved lives as a result of our strong bonds and the trust that we develop with our patients in our rooms. Since last June, I'm glad that I've been able to join our group of providers, 3 other providers that provide direct gender health services, but we also support them with our other providers that have behavioral health, transportation services, housing, food security, and the list goes on and on. We also expanded our days recently to include at least 1 day per week over the course of the month to reduce the wait time that our providers have. So we'd like to thank you for your continued support. When it comes to the resources for a gender health clinic, we believe we're making a big difference, but we can always do more together. So we'd like to share this short video from our staff about why Pride matters to them.
I think it's super important that we are recognizing Pride Month here at Contra Costa, as it's an opportunity to show our respect and celebrate our LGBTQ patients.
Recognizing Pride helps LGBTQ employees to feel valued and included.
Contra Costa Health cares for members of the LGBTQ+ community by hiring LGBTQ+ staff.
It is an honor to support and bear witness to this journey that patients go through as they bravely show and tell the world who they are.
It has been both a transformative and connected experience to be able to support and connect with people that are part of my community in the LGBTQ+ community.
Well, it's important for the Contra Costa residents to know about our services and support for our LGBTQ community.
But I'm proud and so grateful to work here at Contra Costa Health because we're not only working to support the health of LGBTQ+ people, but to improve and prioritize their health.
Our staff is representative of the community, and we also offer services that are affirming and positive.
I have always felt safe and included and protected and honored here at Contra Costa Health as an out lesbian. I've been out the entire time I've worked here.
And I feel very privileged that I have a job in which not only I feel safe and valued, but we can also do that for our clients and our consumers.
I'm very proud to work here because Contra Costa Health has given me a second chance at life. It has given me a second chance at a career and has accepted me for who I am.
So I just want to say thank you to not only health services, but all of our county employees for the hard work, the example you set, and the service you provide to our community overall, and then to our community partners. I can't say more. And if we've left anybody out, I'm sorry. And I know that the web of the services we provide, let alone what our community partners provide, touches all in our community and parts of the LGBTQ community that we don't necessarily see. So with that, I'll just turn it back to the chair, but once we're done, I'm assuming we'll have a photo.
Absolutely. So thank you all for your presence here today. And, you know, I just think that it's great that we continue to live with the theme of equity, diversity, inclusion, and access for all. And I think that if we stick with that theme, then we won't miss any of our residents. And I think that is just totally important. So, Supervisor Joya.
Thanks. First, thank you, Supervisor Carlson, for organizing excellent recognition this year. Thank you, and for your presence on our board and your activism on the board to really promote diversity among all groups in Contra Costa. Thank you. I'm proud that Contra Costa has pride, but that necessarily hasn't come easy. And I think the groups that are out there in the community, some of whom are here today, others that are not here but do the work, know on the ground that this has been a fight over years and decades, so that we in Contra Costa have become a more accepting, tolerant, fair, equitable community. And Ken talked about how growing up in Contra Costa, I remember that debate back in 1978. I was in college at the time, and that sort of highlighted Contra Costa when Harvey Milk came. And I want to just say, I mean, it was great to see the youth from RISE here, because I remember when we were having our discussions nearly 20 years ago and establishing RISE, there was even pushback. And the early folks involved with that effort remember this. We remember this. There was pushback in the city of Richmond and West County by some in having a safe space for youth of color who were also LGBTQIA. And I think the young people stood up, right? The young people demanded a space, and so I remember those. I was surprised how strong some of the reaction was in some segments in West County and in the city of Richmond back nearly 20 years ago, and of course when RISE opened in 2008. So as Diane says, it's great to have you here being positive, and I'm looking forward to the opening of the Health Justice Center in a few months, which will also deliver health services. And I want to highlight that point, because it's not just about our talk, right? It's about the actions and the work we do every day. And Matt, you talked about the work at the health department, because it's we can just get up here and talk about pride, but if we're not acting it out and we're not giving meaning to that, we're faking it. And you talked about the great work of the health department. RISE does work, the Rainbow Community Center. There's a number of organizations listed in the resolution, one of which at my old high school, the James Morehouse Center at El Cerrito High School. A lot of great organizations who are doing this work. And I think our job is to support, give meaning, support those organizations in the community that are doing this really hard work. And Matt talked about shame. This is really about turning shame into pride. Right, and that's what all of you are doing by this work. That's why I fly the pride flag every day at my office in El Cerrito, because it's an everyday job, right? It's not just once a year. And so I just want to thank all of the organizations in the county that do this work, and to acknowledge your role in the fight and moving this along so that we can truly have meaningful pride in Contra Costa County.
Thank you. Supervisor Anderson.
Yes, and I want to thank everyone who is here today. I want to thank Supervisor Carlson for bringing it forward. And again, even before Ken came, we did, of course, celebrate Pride Month in June. But again, I think just the message of inclusivity and making sure that each member of our community does feel respected, does feel honored, and very much an equal to everyone else. And I think this is an important message that all of us need to remember. So thank you.
Supervisor Burgess.
In a world where there is so much of us versus them, every single day we hear different ways that we're all trying to separate ourselves. I just love the fact that we can come together and celebrate each other. And Ken, I just want to say thank you for your bravery and for all of those that show up, because it does take a little bit of bravery, because I know that there's sometimes a pushback, but you're shining a light and you don't even know who is benefiting from that light that you're shining. You don't know that the courage that you demonstrate, the pride that you demonstrate, the joy that you demonstrate in being your authentic self really makes a difference, and you'll never know. You will never know who you have touched and helped make them braver and make their light brighter and helped them be able to make it through tough times. So I'm really happy to be celebrating Pride with everybody. And I want to repeat the inspirational thought, because I think it's really important. We are not what other people say we are. We are who we know ourselves to be, and we are what we love, and that's okay. And so, good job.
Thank you. And again, I just want to acknowledge my colleague. It's a step of bravery to stand out. And so want to appreciate your leadership and your focus on communities that sometimes are not well thought out or appreciated. And just to let you know that I know that this board collectively appreciates you and your leadership in the communities in which you represent.